Hey friends, here with my friend Dr. Ronni Kurtz, teaches systematic theology at Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary and Spurgeon College. We teach together, we're involved in different local churches. In fact, while we're recording this, our wives are hanging out.
That's right.
And doing children's ministry
Yes.
stuff. This is kind of the way it is around here, really. Our families do a lot together, different faculty, we do stuff together. Not quite a commune, but we could be accused of that in some ways. But we both are interested in what goes on in local churches in personal ways. This is our heartbeat, and what goes on in the classroom. When you think about how those two spheres help one another, how do you describe that?
I love this. This question is, and honestly, I'm not just saying this because you're doing the interview. I think you're the model.
Oh.
So for any listeners, this is the pastor theologian right here. But I love this question because it brings my two loves together: academic life, devotional life. I just refuse to see them as separate endeavors. I think the life of the mind and the life of the soul are very much together as it relates to academic ministry and local church ministry in general. At the beginning of Theology 1, I have a whole lecture on the proper soil or the proper location of theology. And in that lecture, I talk about how theology is best done in the church, with the church, and for the church. So in the church, with the church, for the church. And what I mean by that is, in the church, just real quick, in the church theology is not a lone wolf enterprise. We ought to do theology where, Paul tells Timothy, watch your life and your doctrine closely. And we need that kind of covenant community so that if we begin to veer away, the covenant community can say, hey, brother, sister, come back to home, come back to where it's safe. So we need theology in the church. With the church is, not only do I want to do theology in my local church, I also want to do theology with the global church and the historic church in my ear. And then for the church, I tell my students all the time, I am happy for you to do theology for theology's sake the moment you can show me anywhere in the New Testament where that's happening. And of course, it's tongue-in-cheek. You just can't, right? Yeah. I mean, think of the most brilliant theological chapters, Romans 5, Romans 8, Galatians 4. They're all written to churches or to pastors, or to Christians. And so that's the end of theology. We do it in the church, we do it with the church, and we do it for the church. Obviously we're at Midwestern, but it's not just a tagline. We really do think theology isn't fully complete until it meets the real lives of real people with real names and real problems. And that's where theology should go. The glory of God, the good of your neighbor.
Yeah, and it does good.
That's exactly right.
Paul, I was to quote R.C. Sproul, was a problem-solving theologian.
Yeah.
Solving practical problems with theology, various doctrines. And that's what we want you to experience with us, this very idea. And come join the commune. What we want you to do is come to Preview Day, April 24th. Sign up at mbts.edu, and we will see you soon.